Welcome to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries. What if, just imagine for a moment, that today, right now, you are standing at the threshold of a miracle, not a fairy tale miracle, not a lightning bolt from the sky or a genie in a lamp, but a soul-stirring, heart-opening, life-altering shift, the kind of miracle that begins quietly, in a breath, in a prayer, in a moment of stillness when you remember who you truly are beneath the noise of the world. A miracle that starts with a whisper in your spirit. There is more to you than you've dared to believe. This book is not just a collection of reflections. It is an invitation, a sacred, year-long journey to wake up to the power of love, the grace of forgiveness, the brilliance of peace, and the depth of your own divine potential. With each day, each devotion, you will be gently called to look beyond your limitations and into the infinite field of possibility that exists when you surrender fear and embrace faith. Marianne Williamson, one of the most influential spiritual teachers of our time, does not ask you to fix yourself because you are not broken. She does not ask you to become someone new, but to remember who you've always been through the spiritual lens of love and truth. She leads you back home to your own sacred center, where miracles are not rare events, but natural expressions of your alignment with a higher power. This is not a book to read once and shelve. It is a companion, a guide, a mirror. It will meet you in your sorrow and lift you into joy. It will challenge the smallness of your thoughts and illuminate the magnificence of your soul. And day by day, as you reflect, release, and renew, you will not only witness miracles, you will become one. So open this book with an open heart. Step into its pages not as a skeptic, but as a seeker. The journey of your year of miracles begins here, not in grand gestures, but in sacred pauses, not in outward changes first, but in the quiet revolutions of your spirit. You are not reading these words by accident. There is a reason you are here. This is your moment. This is your miracle. Welcome home.
Part 1.
A Year of Miracles by Marianne Williamson. Chapters: January, February, March. Theme: the foundation of inner peace and divine alignment. January: the return to love begins. January starts with a declaration. Miracles are natural, and when they're not happening, something has gone wrong in our thinking. This first month is a wake-up call. It reminds us that miracles aren't reserved for the few, the holy, or the mystics. They are available to us all, every day. We just have to get out of our own way. Williamson guides us through powerful themes. Surrendering control. Each reflection asks us to release our grip on the need to know what's next, and instead trust. In divine timing, there is a daily, sacred invitation to hand over fear, anxiety, and worry to something greater. Living with intention. These aren't New Year's resolutions. These are soul-level shifts. Choosing love instead of resentment, compassion instead of defensiveness, the prayerful mindset. January teaches us that every moment is a choice between love and fear. The miracle begins the moment we choose love. Simple, right, but powerful beyond measure. Notable reflection. Today I surrender all my plans and ask only that love prevail. I open to divine guidance and trust in the perfection of God's plan. By the end of January, you feel a softening, a slowing down, a willingness to let go of control and lean into trust. The groundwork for miracles has been laid. February: healing the heart, one thought at a time. February dives deeper into the healing process, while January helped us reorient. February teaches us how to nurture and repair the inner self. This month, Marianne whispers reminders of our divine worth, that we are lovable, even when broken, that healing is not just possible, it is inevitable when we invite the light in. Key ideas explored. Self-forgiveness. A repeated theme is letting ourselves off the hook. We're not being asked to be perfect, but to be present with our own wounds and offer them to God. Releasing judgment. The miracle isn't just internal, it's in how we begin to see others. As we shift from seeing separation to seeing oneness, judgment falls away, resentment dissolves, we make space for love. prayer as daily medicine. Many devotions in February are short prayers that act as mini heart surgeries, gentle yet transformative. They help us shift from attack thoughts to healing thoughts. Notable reflection: I release the past, that I may be born again. In this moment, I no longer identify with my wounds. I identify with my capacity to heal. By the end of February, there's a palpable sense of possibility. The emotional clutter has begun to clear, and there's room in the heart again for self-love, for forgiveness, for joy. March, walking with God, living with grace. March is about motion. We're no longer just surrendering and healing, we're walking forward, aligned with divine purpose. Marianne emphasizes action, but not the striving kind. This is sacred action, inspired movement that comes not from ego, but from spirit. Powerful reflections in March include being of service. As we heal, we become available to help others heal. The idea that our lives are meant to be of use to the world is deeply rooted in this month. We're called to be miracle workers, not in dramatic ways, but in everyday kindness and presence. Divine confidence. There's a strong theme of trusting our voice, our worth, and our calling, not because we are special, but because we are connected to something that is. Letting go of outcomes. March reminds us that our job is not to control results, it's to show up with love. That's it. The rest is not our business. It's God's. Notable reflection. Today I show up as love. I will not chase. I will not strive. I will not demand. I simply offer my presence and let God handle the rest. March leaves us standing taller. There's a sense of grounded peace and renewed energy. We're not just waiting for miracles anymore. We're beginning to live as conduits for them. Part 2. Chapters: April, May, June. Theme: Living the light, loving the world. April: Becoming a presence of peace in a chaotic world. As spring blossoms, April awakens us to a powerful truth. We are here to be bringers of peace. The focus shifts now from healing to embodying what we've learned. April is all about stepping into our spiritual responsibility, not from pressure or perfectionism, but from love. You've done the inner work. Now it's time to bring that peace into your relationships, your conversations, and your daily choices. Key themes of April: being the calm in the storm. Life might still be chaotic, but you've been practicing peace. And April's reflections help you be the grounding presence when everything else feels uncertain. Choosing love when it's inconvenient. Williamson challenges us to love even when it's hard, even when we're tired, even when others don't deserve it. Because love is not a reward, it's a decision. Learning to pause before reacting, before judging, before lashing out. April invites us to pause long enough to remember who we really are. Notable reflection. Today I will not seek to be understood, but to understand. I will not defend my ego, but will respond with grace. Let my presence be an offering of peace. By the end of April, you will feel a shift, not just in thought, but in how they show up in the world. The miracle isn't just in prayer, it's in how you treat the person in front of you. May, the sacred power of relationships. If April is about showing up in the world, May is about showing up in love. This month, Williamson gets beautifully honest. Our relationships are our greatest classrooms, the ones we cherish, the ones that trigger us, the ones that break our hearts wide open. May doesn't shy away from conflict or pain. It moves us through them with grace. We are reminded that every person we meet is either offering love or asking for it. There are no exceptions. Themes explored. Romantic relationships. Not the fantasy kind, but the spiritual partnership that helps us grow. Williamson's devotions here are deeply grounding, reminding us that love is about giving, not just getting. Forgiveness as a gateway. Resentment is poison, and forgiveness is freedom. May encourages us to let go, not for others, but for our own peace. Seeing the divine in others. This month retrains our eyes. We start seeing beyond behavior, beyond history, and into the soul of those around us. When we can look at someone and think, you, too, are a child of God, everything softens. Notable reflection. I release the past and step into the now with love. I see with forgiving eyes, and I speak with a forgiving tongue. I allow my relationships to be reborn. May becomes a mirror, showing us where we still resist love and inviting us to open, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. June, co-creating a life with God. June is radiant. After 5 months of reflection, release, and reconnection, June arrives with a bold, beautiful message. You and God are building something together. This month focuses on vision, purpose, and inspired action. We're not here to just heal or survive. We're here to create lives that radiate divine energy into the world. June encourages us to trust divine intelligence. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to stay in alignment. Miracles flow when we move with spiritual intention, not egoic striving. Receive guidance in stillness. Many of June's devotions are quiet, contemplative. They remind us that our greatest answers don't come from panic or productivity. They come from peace. Dreams, sacred dreams. What if your dreams are God's dreams too? What if your desires are whispers from heaven? June reminds us to dream boldly, but always with a surrendered heart. Notable reflection. Today I say yes to the divine design. I let go of the life I thought I had to control and instead walk the path God lays before me. I am a co-creator of miracles. By the end of June, we don't just feel closer to the divine. We feel partnered with it. There's a sense of mission now, a calling, not loud and flashy, but steady and sacred. Part 3. Chapters. July, August, September. Theme: courage, confidence, and standing in divine power. July, choosing love even when it's hard. By July, the journey takes a deeper turn. The inner healing work is well underway. The habits of love are forming, and now life does what life does. It tests us. July is about spiritual maturity. It's where the teachings of love, peace, and surrender get put into practice in the middle of everyday challenges, and Williamson doesn't sugarcoat it. Growth isn't always graceful. Sometimes it's messy, confusing, even painful. But here's the miracle. The moment we remember love, we remember who we are. Key themes for July. Loving through resistance. You'll be asked to love when it's uncomfortable, to forgive when it feels unfair. July shows us how to do that without betraying our boundaries. Courage as a spiritual force. Not the loud, dramatic kind, but the quiet kind. The courage to keep showing up, to stay soft in a hard world, to speak your truth without fear. Letting God handle the heavy stuff. This month reminds us again and again. We're not meant to carry everything. Some battles are not ours to fight, especially the ones we're fighting inside ourselves. Notable reflection. Today I will not abandon love in the face of fear. I will walk through discomfort and conflict with grace, knowing that love is my true strength. By the end of July, you feel a different kind of power, one born not from ego or defense, but from alignment, from knowing that love is still the safest place to stand. August, alignment, integrity, and divine timing. If July was about walking through fire with grace, August is about walking in alignment with your soul. This month, Williamson turns our attention toward integrity, living in harmony with your highest values, and more importantly, trusting the process. Even when life doesn't look how you thought it would, this is where spiritual frustration tends to creep in. Why isn't it working yet? Or where's my breakthrough? But August gently reminds us that divine timing is never late and never wrong. Themes that shine in August. Authenticity over approval. You don't need to shrink, pretend, or people please to be loved. August calls you to stand tall in your truth, even if it costs comfort. Timing is sacred. We're reminded that patience isn't passive, it's powerful. God's delays aren't denials, they're divine choreography. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should, saying no as an act of love. Boundaries are reframed here not as rejection, but as sacred protection of your purpose and peace. Notable reflection. Today I trust in the divine unfolding. Even when I cannot see the path, I know I am being guided. I honor the process, not just the outcome. By the end of August, there's a stillness, a steadiness. You're learning to rest in the unknown. You no longer chase miracles, you allow them. September, the empowered spirit. Then comes September, a bold, radiant, powerful month that feels like a spiritual homecoming. This is where you reclaim your voice, your purpose, and your authority as a divine being. Where earlier months helped you heal, forgive, and wait, September says, it's time to move, to create, to claim. This isn't egoic striving, it's divinely led action, and it comes from a deep place of knowing. You are ready. Themes of spiritual power that roar in September. Taking up spiritual space, not with dominance, but with presence. You no longer shrink to fit, you lead with light, unapologetically. Speaking truth with love. The month invites you to express your authentic self, to have hard conversations, to stop hiding behind niceness and instead show up with clarity and grace, becoming the miracle for others. September shifts your perspective. You're not just looking for blessings. You are the blessing. You're the answer to someone's prayer. Notable reflection. I no longer play small. I no longer doubt my worth. Today I stand in my sacred power, knowing I was born to be a light in this world. By the end of September, there's momentum. You've stopped waiting for signs. You're the sign. You're not seeking miracles. You're living them, walking, talking proof that love is real and that it works. Part 4. Chapters: October, November, December. Theme: grace, gratitude, and living a miraculous life. October: deepening grace, embracing the sacred unknown. October is a sacred whisper. After months of transformation, this is the season where we slow down and sink deeper into faith, into grace, into divine mystery. This isn't the month of striving or achieving, it's the month of letting go, and Williamson's devotions here feel like gentle hands guiding us to rest in the unknown without fear. October invites you to trust when it's quiet. Sometimes, the silence after a spiritual high feels confusing. October teaches us to lean into that space, not as emptiness, but as sacred stillness. Surrender expectations. We begin to see how control and fear are just two sides of the same coin. Miracles don't come because we force them, they come because we allow them. Relearn humility. October is a humbling month, not in shame, but in reverence. We are reminded, God is not just in the mountaintops, God is in the moment. Notable reflection. Today I surrender the story I've written and embrace the one God is writing. I release the need to understand and choose to trust the unfolding. By the end of October, your energy softens. You're not fighting life, you're flowing with it. That's the miracle. November: gratitude as a spiritual superpower. November is radiant with reverence. It takes the themes of October and brings them into sharp, joyful focus. Gratitude isn't just something we feel, it's something we become. Williamson reminds us here that we don't wait until everything is perfect to give thanks. We give thanks, and that opens the floodgates of peace, connection, and divine abundance. In November, we're called to celebrate the now, not the someday, not the maybe, the now, even in its imperfections, even in its mess. Thank the pain. November holds one of the most powerful spiritual teachings. Sometimes, the things we hated living through are the very things that grew us most. Recognize how far we've come. With the year nearing its end, Williamson's reflections help us pause and honor the journey, the growth, the healing, the becoming. Notable reflection. Gratitude transforms my vision. I no longer see what's missing, but what's present. I no longer dwell on the pain, but on the beauty that remains. November becomes the bridge between who we were and who we've become, all through the sacred lens of thanks. December: completion, wholeness, and the eternal now. And finally, December, the month of completion and renewal. Williamson ends the devotional year not with fireworks, but with quiet confidence. This is not the end of your spiritual journey. It's a return to the beginning, but with new eyes. December's miracles are about living from wholeness. You're no longer trying to become enough. You realize you already are. December reaffirms that our healing, our purpose, our joy. It's all within. Dwelling in presence. This month's reflections call us out of the past and future entirely. There is only now, and in the now, everything you need is already here, stepping forward in light. With a full heart, a clear mind, and a soul realigned with love, you're invited to take what you've learned and let it lead your life. Notable reflection. I am whole, I am ready, I am one with divine love, and I walk into the next chapter with peace as my companion and God as my guide. There's a feeling by the end of December that you've come home, not just to God, but to your truest self. The miracle is not something you chase, it's something you now embody. Conclusion: a definite invitation to live miraculously. Now that you have walked the full length of this sacred journey, I invite you to pause, not merely to reflect, but to recognize something vital. You've been given the master key within the pages of a year of miracles. You did not merely read devotions. You unlocked the laws of higher living. You discovered the universal truth that thoughts become things when saturated with faith, backed by purpose, and carried out through inspired action. Marianne Williamson reminded you again and again that you are not alone, that infinite intelligence, that unseen force, which I have often referred to as the other self. She calls God, or love, or spirit, but we are both pointing to the same source, a power greater than your fear, and more faithful than your doubt. Let me now tell you this. You are born rich with potential. You are endowed, from the moment of your conception, with a mind capable of transforming invisible ideas into visible miracles. The only question left is, will you decide? Will you now live as a person of definite purpose, one who believes not just in miracles but in your authority to create them? You have been taught the power of gratitude, the practice of forgiveness, the necessity of discipline, and the vibration of love. These are not soft principles. These are stronger than steel. These are the tools of kings and queens, of builders and dreamers, of those who shape destinies. So I urge you, form a definite chief aim to live each day with spiritual courage. Burn every bridge behind you that leads back to doubt. Ally yourself with divine intelligence by choosing love over fear. Speak the language of expectancy, and miracles will begin to obey you. Know, with the faith of 1,000 suns, that what you seek is already seeking you. Success, true success, is not measured in dollars or fame. It is measured in peace, in purpose, in the inner knowing that you are aligned with the highest vision of yourself. And now you are. So go forward boldly. Do not just hope for miracles, command them. Through the power of belief, the definiteness of your purpose, and the alignment of your spirit with God. Because when you do, my friend, there is nothing you cannot be, do, or have. Read the book to learn more. Thanks for listening to Book Buzz reviews and summaries.